Hey, shalom. Yes, this is my pillow. This is my truck bed. You can't really see it. Whatever. This is my prison cell. Ah, I'm wearing the right colors for it. ah, ah. I know. Bad. Bad, Mark. Bad. Not making videos. Bad. Leaving your channel abandoned for like a month. Bad. Bad, 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 bad. Yeah, I know. I know. Again, no excuses. Um, it's a funny story. The last video I posted, I literally made like a month ago, and then I just never posted it after like not posting for 3 weeks. My wife is like, "So, when you gonna do a new thing on your channel, huh? When?" Oh, my beard, man. I need to looking like a caveman out here. Okay. Um, I know. Also, my voice. I don't know if it's the same or not. I'm getting stuffy. We went from extreme cold weather to warmish weather to extreme cold weather to warmish weather, and it's messing with me. My nose is all clogged, and I got the sick. Yuck. But yeah. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So like, a month went by between the last video and this one, and I will post this one tonight. This will be a 12, was it the 15th now? 12, 15, 25 video. It will be posted today. Promise. I promise. Post it today. Funny how things work. I was just gonna go to bed. Like, I was literally like, let me eat my sandwich, my Subway sandwich that I bought earlier today because we got back from Oklahoma and didn't have time to go shopping. Literally literally drove all night, hit the bed as soon as I got home, and then woke up and went to work. I'm not gonna say exactly how much time passed because that might get me in trouble. But needless to say, yeah, caffeine. There was a lot of caffeine drinking the next day in the form of energy drinks. Because yeah, yeah. Why were you in Oklahoma and then having to go to work the next day? Because things, talking with people about our land that we acquired, really trying to figure out what we want to do, like the way we want to go. Because at first we're like, yeah, we'll get a cabin. We'll get a bigger cabin than the one that's already on the land, and because that cabin's small, but we'll get a bigger cabin, and then we'll put cabinets and sinks and nice things in it. And then like the reality of it is like, well, cabins are kind of expensive. Like, it's not a super cheap proposition, and the size that we want is probably not the size that we're going to be able to get up there, just due to the logistics of, we don't have a helicopter, a heavy lift helicopter that can just lift the whole cabin up to the top of the mountain, and driving it up there, the conventional way. I don't think that's going to be a thing. There's a couple of spots on that road to get up there that I drive trucks for a living, and I would not feel comfortable trying to take a 40-foot long cabin around some of those angles and curves at those inclinations. It would not make me feel good inside. I can see logging trucks getting down that mountain because of the way that they're designed, but a cabin semi going up there, yeah, yeah, I doubt we're gonna get the size that we wanted there. So then the next thing was, well, why don't you just build one? You know, just take that money that you would have spent on hauling a cab, you know, buying and hauling a cabin up there, and why don't you just build one? And it's just like, yeah, great, yeah, why don't we just build a cabin from scratch with no prior knowledge, or hire someone to build one at cost, you know, basically at you know, not at cost. They're not going to do it at cost, but non-financed. Yeah, non-financed, because they're going to want their money right away. So we probably won't have a financing option, because, you know, I don't want to finance. We're trying to stay very debt free. We've been blessed to the point that we're, you know, the only debt we really have on us is the credit card balance that we run, just to, you know, we run our groceries and stuff on it, and then we pay it off, just to have a good credit score, so that if we do actually decide, you know, that we want to build a house, like an actual house up there, like in the near future, if the world doesn't go crazy in the next couple, you know, yada yada yada, if the world is not tipsy-turvy upside down in the next 4 years, then we're probably going to put a house up there on it. I know. You sound like a crazy man, dude. What do you mean if the world is not tipsy-turvy? Yeah, if you know, you know, right? If you've been paying attention to what's been going on, and you've been listening to everything everywhere all at once, you know, that's a good, you should go look up that video, Everything Everywhere All at Once, from Bear Independent. Just go watch his thoughts on that, and then kind of like think to yourself, like, you know, there have been some screwy things going on, but this is not that video. So yeah, so building a cabin, maybe, but there is a cabin already up there, the aforementioned hunting cabin, that is semi-finished. Like, it needs some work on the inside, which is kind of why I was joking with buckets and Bibles. I was like, I may have some work for you, man, because yeah, I legitimately actually may have some work for him. I'll have to talk with him next time I'm down there and I see him, because we need some stuff fixed. We need to get the shower fixed in there. For some reason, they put the water heating unit, like they attached it on the inside of I don't know if they were just doing that to put it there, or if they were actually planning on, like, yeah, we're going to put the water heating unit in the actual shower. Just like, I don't think that's how that goes, but we'll look at it. Someone who knows how to plumb things, yeah, that's I need to learn these things too. You know, there's a part of me that just wants to be like, yeah, let's just throw money at it and make it better. But I'm like, no, I need to pay someone to teach me how to do these things, you know? What's that saying? You do, we do, I do? Or no? I don't know, but basically, you know, you show me, we do it together, and then I do it myself. That's the way I want to be with a lot of these things. Is I want there to be instruction and learning, and, you know, I'm good at certain things. I'm good at driving a truck. But that's pretty much all I'm really good at these days. I don't know. But, you know, like, there's things I'd like to learn. So I was talking to Dudley about you know, learning how to cut down some trees when I went by Refuge this last weekend when we were down in Oklahoma. Stopped by there and said hi, and Dudley was there. I was like, hey Dudley, what's up, man? And you know, had a good conversation with him, and he mentioned that we could do a saw class, like learning, like, you know, because training is a big deal. So the brother need to be trained on, you know, proper cutting down of trees. There are very skilled lumbermen, woodsmen, I don't know, you know, sawmen. I don't know what you would call them. People who know how to fell trees really well. Who'd be willing to basically hold a class for training of the brethren, which is cool, because I definitely need to know how to fell trees, because there's a lot of trees that, I mean, like, I'm not going to go all lumberjack on our property, but I do want to push the forest line back a little bit away from our cabin site. That way, like, if a tree were to fall, it wouldn't fall directly on our cabin, or if there were a crazy fire, you know, we wouldn't be right next to the forest line. You know, stuff like that. What else? I talked to the land guy, the dozer guy, the guy who has the dozer. I've been calling him the land clearance guy, or the dirt work. The dirt work guy. I know it's late. So my brain's just like drove all day. I'm in Colorado. Yeah. Parked behind a Home Depot because that's just the way I roll. Because it's an all day drive. Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, I talked to the dirt work guy that was suggested. He does a lot of work up on our mountain that we have a spot on, and so he was pretty cool. What was his C2 dirt work, or I have his card. I'll have to look it up. And anyways, talked with him. He came out and met us on our property. You know, we walked around the area that I was thinking about. You know, like, hey, I want this area leveled. You know, like these trees need to be knocked over because we're going to put a cabin here. This ground needs to be level right here so that we can actually, you know, build a cabin, put a shed down over here. I want a carport right over there. You know, just like kind of like going through like our ideas of, you know, I want you to take the dirt and push it up into a berm on the upside of this slope so that we can redirect the water, and also, you know, have a horseshoe berm that goes around our property, so that we basically have a mounded fence, a mound wall fence, a defensive position. I don't know. You wouldn't understand unless you were there looking at it, and someday I might do a video where I show you guys, you know, the area that we're working with. But OPSEC, man, OPSEC, I really like. it's in eastern Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma. That's, you know, look around there. There's some mountains down there. You might take a guess. I don't know. Anyways, but basically, you know, on our spot we have a, I wouldn't really call it a cliff face, but it's a steep, like, you know, the mountain goes down and in a hurry. It's a steep slope. You know, on one side, so that we can look down into the valley, you know, that's our downwards mountain look. And then we have a nice natural clearing. Well, it's not natural, but it's a nice clearing that's pretty big. Like, we could fit a good amount of stuff in there, you know, different, like, you know, a bigger cabin, or possibly a house at some point. You know, we could fit like storage sheds, and you know, like, I want to have like a basic stable in there too, that we could keep some of our animals. And my idea is basically to put a horseshoe berm, you know, basically from the cliff, I guess, if you want to call it a cliff. It's not really a cliff. It doesn't just drop straight off. It's a steep slope. Steep enough that, you know, you would have to really find a way up there, and it would not be easy. So it's kind of like a natural barrier. But basically do a horseshoe berm with a gate entrance for our vehicles to go in and out, that will actually have a big wooden gate that we can open and close, you know, in a fence, because there are mountain lions up there. Like, State of Oklahoma Wildlife, there are no mountain lions. Arkansas has them, and people in the area are like, yeah, no, there's mountain lions up here. We've seen them. In fact, the dirt work guy, he actually had a close encounter with one. It tried to eat him. Yeah, so that was a fun story that he related to me. So they're definitely up there. So, you know, I've got 3 young children, so I definitely want to have a barrier, between us and the wildlife, because there are also black bears up there, which are not as big of an issue, but they're up there. So, you know, take that for what you may. What am I gonna call this? Call this pillow talk. That was random. I know, ADHD. So yeah, I definitely want to do that for multiple reasons. So I was talking with him like, hey, how much would it be to like take all this, flatten it out, push the dirt up into a berm over here, and so basically to do the basic work without getting all crazy with the berm, it's going to be about $1,000 for him to push a dozer around. Well, 600 to 1,000, depending on if he finds big rocks or not, which is a real possibility. So, you know, it's about 125 an hour or something like that. So he thinks it's going to take about 5 or 6 hours of work to clear what I want cleared, to basically knock some trees over, make the ground flat and level. So yeah, that was the main purpose of going down. We also went down because my dad was looking at some houses down there. Unfortunately, that didn't really pan out. The houses that we looked at weren't quite what he wanted, which is okay. But I was like, hey, Dad, you do understand that this is a rural area. Like, it's not a very rich area, so the quality of homes down here are not going to be as good as what you're used to up in Kansas. You know, Latha, Kansas. So then he joked like, you know, well, I just probably build a cabin on your, yeah, okay. So whenever he wants to do that, you know, we'll see. We'll keep an eye out for other houses in the area, but what else? So yeah, we went down there. We had Shabbat. That was cool. I enjoyed that. And then we went home. And, you know, so basically, you know, and then my entire weekend was running around down there, like, talking to different people, kind of learning the area, trying to find leads down there, for different services and whatnot, just so I know how much things are going to cost to do certain things. And our big thing is we're probably going to outfit the cabin down there with what we have. We're probably going to bring the camper that we own up there. That'll be interesting. The camper, I'm sure we can make it up there, but it's gonna be one of those things where you've got to take it really slow. That's what I think. And we have to have a truck capable of pulling it up there, so that's the other thing, is I have to either buy a truck or find someone with a truck who's willing to help me do that endeavor. So yeah, that's what's up. I do intend to actually do a regular scriptural reading. I know I said that last time and I didn't, and you know, so we actually have to do the things that we say we're going to do, you know. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. You know, don't talk about it, be about it. So I am going to be about it. I think I'm just going to do straight reads of the scriptures I was like, oh, I should just read a chapter at a time. And no, I'm just going to read until I get tired, and then, you know, some days might be long, some days might be short. So that's what I'm thinking. Probably aim to do that on Shabbat. That's what I'm thinking too. So yeah, maybe do some lives with my wife. I don't know. We'll do some live chit chats. You know, this channel's not really to like monetize or do anything crazy with. Like, I'm kind of just doing this for myself. That's all I got. Okay. I'm gonna attempt to go to sleep. I really should. I don't know what it is lately. Sleep's been eluding me lately. Like, I get enough sleep. I don't really have the desire to sleep. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I'm wound up from all these. Yeah. Got a lot on my mind lately. I was actually relating to my wife. I was like, I miss playing D&D. I really hope there are some nerds down there. I hope some of the people that we make friends with down there are nerds, because I really miss playing D&D. I really miss, what I miss is I miss running D&D. I like telling stories. I like, you know, running games and just kind of, I miss it. And I'm kind of sad about the way I had to stop running my last D&D game, just because, you know, we didn't plan correctly, and I kind of left my D&D group just, you know, off on, like, you know, basically we didn't even finish the game, like, you know, just like yeah, I'll be back for a little bit, and then nope, never came back. Was driving truck and never really came back to conclude the game. So, but you know, I know, you know, read the Bible. What's D&D got to do with that? Well, you know, sometimes you got to occupy your brain with things, and when I'm not thinking about esoteric things, sometimes I just think about, you know, stories I'd like to tell, or, you know, things I'd like to be able to do. And so it was really random today, but I was telling my wife I miss D&D. I miss sitting around a table with friends and telling stories and having fun and rolling dice, and, you know, like being able to, like, have a unique experience like that. And I miss it. I want to do that stuff again. And I think it's the season of life that we're in right now. I think my wife is in the same kind of situation where she's home a lot by herself and the kids, because I'm doing this trucking thing. And so we don't have the time to just kind of like be out with friends and, you know, make friends and do that kind of stuff. So it's been tough. And so fellowship is a key thing that we're really looking forward to a lot more when we finally settle down to where we're going. But we have a season to prepare, but we've also been warned not to linger in it. So I would suggest for all of you the same thing: prepare now and don't linger in the season that we are in, because, you know, right now you can go and buy whatever you want. There may come a day in the very near future where you can't. The indicators are there. So I'm not trying to leave off on a fear-mongering note or anything, just saying, like, it would behoove you to maybe, you know, think about that. Think about abundance, and think about what the world looks like without abundance, because that's been on my mind a lot lately too. So yeah. All right, I'll wrap it up, and I'm gonna go to bed. So I'll catch you all later. Shalom.